this is Jamie from homeschoolstory.com, and I am going to tell you about our newest history lesson guide. It is called Conquerors and Reformers of the Middle Ages. So here it is. And this is a really exciting new lesson guide. So we've already done one history lesson guide last year, and that was our ancient story. And basically that was a 24-week unit study of the beginnings of cultures throughout the world. So this run right here is actually just a mini unit. So this is a 7-week study. So if you want to try to give us a try and you're not sure if this is going to be something that you'll use or that will work well with your schedule, then this little mini unit is a great place to start. It's only $6 for a PDF download, so it's less than $1 a week. And you can see if it's something that will really work for your family. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what's inside and show you some of the resources that you'll need to use. So the first resource that I use is Story of the World. Now I'm going to show you about 3 different history resources that I use during this unit. But that does not mean that you need all 3. Now you certainly can read from all 3 on the days that they are assigned. But if you just have 1 or 2 of these items, then that is okay. Or for the ages of your children, if something like this is just a little bit too much and you want to use some of the simpler resources, then that's perfectly fine too. You might have a day or 2 in a week where there's not a reading assigned because it's a resource that you're not using, but there's certainly activities or more study that you can do in other areas. So the first one is Story of the World. We will only be using volume 2 during this 7-week study. The second one, well, this kind of goes with the first one. This is the activity book that goes with the Story of the World volume 2. A lot of our activities are pulled straight out of this book. Now, what I've done for you, if you already own this book, then you'll know that this book is full of bazillions of choices of activities, map work, coloring sheets, games, all kinds of things. And so it can be a little overwhelming. So what I've done is gone through each unit that correlates with what we're studying, and I've picked out a variety of activities and map work that I think would work well for most people. I tried to pick things that didn't have any unusual supplies needed, items that you could easily either have at your home or easily purchase at a regular store, you know, something like Walmart or your grocery store or things like that, so that it would make it a lot simpler for you. I also try to include a variety of types, so some things that are more crafty-like and some things that are more game-oriented or bigger types of builds and things, but that were still simple enough that you could certainly do that with a busy family schedule. Our map work is also in here as well. So I've just pulled those things out ahead of time for you so you don't have to try to sit there and take time and decide what you want to do. I've also included a master supply list based on the activities, so you'll know what you need for each activity. The next resource is something that's much simpler. This is Everything You Need to Know About. That's the series, and this is the World History Home. So this book is a lot easier to read. I'll show you just a few pages inside, just random pages. So this is something that's much better for either younger students or for older students who are practicing their note-taking skills, because it's always easier to pull from a simpler text when you're first learning those skills. This also has a lot of words that are bolded that you can use for vocabulary words. There's a simple glossary in the back. So that's a great resource for all ages. And the last main history resource is our Kingfisher History Encyclopedia. This is my favorite encyclopedia. I have used the Usborne encyclopedias as well. Matter of fact, I don't know if you can see it, but it's back there on my shelf back there, and you probably can't tell because the spine is completely broken because I've used it so much. It's completely worn out. But we recently, probably in the last couple of years, switched over to the Kingfisher, and I just like it a lot more for our personal use. Here's some of the insides. I think the main difference is that this has a little bit more verbiage per page than the Usborne does. So this is kind of like what it looks like on the inside, and you'll see it's beautifully illustrated. For younger kids, just reading the captions of those pictures and looking at the pictures of artwork and famous landmarks and things like that is a great learning tool just in and of itself. So that's a great resource as well. So those were our main history resources. And every day you will be directed, and let me just show you what that page looks like. You'll be directed to read, here's your week at a glance, and this section right here are the 3 history resources I just showed you: the Story of the World, the Kingfisher, and Everything You Need to Know About World History book. And so on different days of the week you will read, you'll read different pages from those books. Okay, like I said, you don't have to read all 3. Then I've also included a literature connection. Now what this is basically a list of some suggested books, history-based literature. These are all fictional. Well, Son of Charlemagne is sort of not so fictional, but the rest of them are fictional in the sense that the characters aren't real. But they are history-based, and so you still learn a lot about the time period, the people, the cultures, and the places that you will be reading about in the Encyclopedia and in Story of the World. I tried to pick a variety of reading levels as well, so you can pick and choose. There's a list in your guide. Let's see if I can show you what that looks like. That has all of the books listed, as well as like a little summary from online about each book, the recommended reading level or age, as well as a link to Amazon if you want to purchase that way. But you can pick 1 or 2 of these books to read together, and certainly don't have to do all of them. That would be a lot of reading. But if you have some more than one child doing the program, then maybe one will pick a different book than the other, and so then you can talk about it together. So like I said, Son of Charlemagne is one of the books, and this is a little bit of a harder book. It's a great family read aloud or for an older student, and it basically is going through the leading up to who Charlemagne is. And then here's a simpler one. This is The Making of a Knight, and this is a really beautifully illustrated book, and it talks about the process a young boy would have to go through on his way to becoming a knight. Castle Diary. This is a funny one, and it's basically the journal of Tobias Burgess, and you kind of live in his shoes for a while, and daily he puts a little entry into his diary, and so we learn about his life that way. He's got some funny antics that he goes through. This one is absolutely hilarious. This is the Measly Middle Ages, and this is like, it would be great for reluctant readers or your boys that want something a little funny. It does give you true history about the Middle Ages, but it puts it with a lot of humor. Every once in a while there's a few things that maybe you might be a little bit questionable on as far as appropriateness, so just maybe give it a quick review before you read each chapter and see if there's anything there you're not comfortable with. But I feel comfortable enough with it, and I love it, so that's our book there. I also included, I don't have it with me because it's on my Kindle, but it's another one, and it's Minstrel in the Tower, and that's another really great family favorite. So those are your literature connections, and every day on the weekly plan you're given this section of literature, and it basically lists the book, and it tells you which pages that you would read each day in order to finish the book within the 6 or 7 weeks. Some books take more time than others, so again, you just pick which books you want to use. The last part on your little weekly plan is our Bible connection. And I thought it was really interesting when we're studying the Middle Ages to learn a lot about Martin Luther. He's actually somebody that you'll read and research on week 7 in this plan as a reformer of the faith. And one of the things that you're going to learn about him is what brought him into even wanting to create reformation within the church. And that was his reading of Romans as part of it. And he really felt that the Lord spoke to him through that scripture as it related to salvation. And at the time there was much teaching of salvation by works. Even the church at the time was selling indulgences and things like that. And this really angered Martin Luther. Because when he read Romans, he learned about faith, and that salvation came by grace through faith. So I thought it would be really neat to connect our Bible portion with Martin Luther. So if Romans was an amazing book for him to read, then it's an amazing book for all of us to read. So basically each day you're going to be reading about 15 verses, and that'll take you through the entire book of Romans in 7 weeks. I don't include a Bible study or commentary or anything like that. I'll leave that up to you and your family. But it's a great little reading plan to keep you on track so that you can read through the book of Romans in the 7 weeks. I'll have some additional links and information if you want to take it further. But that's basically how it works. You'll have your week at a glance that tells you your page numbers. And then you'll always have, I had this all laid out, all nice and neat so I could show it to you, and then I confused it all. But then you'll also have this. So each week has a week at a glance and a detailed page. So here where it tells you which page numbers of books to read, on here it'll tell you what's actually going on with those page numbers. If there's some activity that is related to that reading, if there's some note-taking opportunities, if there's some words to define, any of that will be listed here with page numbers for other references as well. I also include every once in a while some links to some outside things like YouTube videos or other websites that have great activities or crafts. So as always, you'll just want to preview any outside link and a YouTube video for appropriateness for your own family. But that would be how it works. Now, my goal for us is to use the notebooking pages. And so I've included a series of like 4 different types of notebooking pages in this great little reference on how to do notebooking. And that means something different to everybody, so you can make it whatever you want to make it. My goal for my kids has always been that by the end of the week they have something to show, something to kind of bring it all together, what they've been studying. And so through the week they're asked to take notes, to write down definitions, things like that, to take keyword outlines of their reading, or just jot down a couple things that were interesting or a couple facts that they read about. It could even be copy work for some of the younger kids. But then at the last day, they're going to put all that together in some sort of notebooking page. And so there's a few different examples. Here's one that has kind of a note-taking spot at the top and then kind of a summary spot at the bottom with an illustration. Here's one that has a spot for some words to know, and then a what I learned area down here. You can do a history terms section in your notebook, and you can write the words here and the definitions as you go through the unit. And then there's also a sheet that's just all lined, and so you can make that look like whatever you need for your family. But I really believe that notebooking is a really important way of letting them not only get the input in, but be able to start to learn to take that and put it back down on paper. So I hope that that is something that you would be interested in, and that it would make life easier for you and your family for 7 weeks, that take some of the planning off of your plate, and kind of have some things done for you, because I know that helps me a lot. So I hope you enjoy. If you have any questions at all, please comment here on the blog or at our Homeschool Story blog Facebook page, which is just facebook.com/homeschoolstoryblog, or you can email me at jamiegravitt@homeschoolstory.com. So thank you so much for watching this video. I know it's kind of long, but I wanted to give you all of the details, and we will see you soon. And look out for more history guides, because I'm working on our next mini unit right now. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.